Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
18 clubs, I raised to 30 under the gun. Folds, like one or two people fold. Shaun Deeb's at the game.
Of course.
He raises to 125. He's in like either the cutoff or the hijack. I think it was the cutoff, and it folds back to me. I guess there's definitely an argument for re-raising, but I didn't want to blow the pot up huge. He's a very good player. I didn't want to be going to a flop, with no pair already in a, huge pot if I four-bet to like 400 or 500, So I just called.
So let me stop you right there. Some of the stuff that we do on Top Section, and I didn't know a lot of this stuff too, but I've learned quite a bit from one of our high-level instructors that does a lot of sim stuff, pre-flop. He does his own work, and in his opinion, four-betting ace-king suited is, you're not doing it 100% of the time, but you're doing it very, very frequently as a choice of, four-betting aces, four-betting kings, and ace-king suited. It's a good frequency selector, too, because it's only 1/4 of the ace-kings. But you decide to call.
Yeah, I agree with you. About 90-something% of the time, I have no problem doing a four-bet, maybe even playing for stacks against some people. But, we have a little history. He's three-bet me light a few times, and even four-bet me light a couple times and showed. So probably might not be a bad idea to four-bet, but I guess I wasn't feeling like the animal, and I just called. So anyways, we get a good flop. It's king 6-6 with one club.
Okay.
And I check it over to him. He quickly bets 125 again.
So he bets half the pot.
Yeah, same bet as the pre-flop, about half pot.
Okay.
And I, pretend like I have a decision, and I end up calling him.
Okay.
Turns like a blank. I believe it was like a 7 offsuit, and we both check.
Okay, so check.
I'm sorry, it wasn't offsuit. It was a 7 of clubs. That is important.
Okay, so you turn the nut flush draw.
I did turn the nut flush draw, yeah, and I checked it to him, and he checked it back.
Okay.
I apologize. It was a club.
Yep.
So anyways, river comes out 2 of clubs. And I got to figure out the best hand at this point after we check the turn. But, the history that we have, I feel like, my hand looks like a, jacks, queens type of hand. Maybe he might try and bluff me off it if I check it to him 3 times. So I check it to him again, and he thinks a second, throws at a $500 chip. So my question is, got to raise here, probably, right?
Yeah, I think you have to raise. I'm not sure if I like to check all that much on the river. I do understand what you're saying. So again, this is another thing that I've been, I think I've definitely upped some of my. I think I've upped the skill level of my game in these situations. This is sort of newer type of thing. What I'm about to say, like, on the turn, usually. Let's just examine if he ever has clubs here. He should be betting his backdoor club draws on the turn. So if he's betting certain hands with backdoor equity on the flop, like queen 10 of clubs, queen jack of clubs, some sort of suited connector, he should continue on the turn, right, to bet those backdoors. So when he checks back the turn, it's definitely unlikely that he has a flush. He really shouldn't check back, on the turn. Here, you would think that, obviously I've played No Limit with Shaun. He should continue to bet with a lot of value hands, too, that are nutted on the turn, like pocket 7s, a 6, pocket kings. So, it is a sort of it's a pot-sized bet on the river here. Seems to me like he might even have, like, king X, and he's trying to get looked up by what you're talking about. So, I would certainly raise here with ace king of clubs.
Sizing wise, would you go big, small?
He's betting 500 into 5. I would probably make it like 1,200, something like that. And unless you have a reason why you think you're going to induce him, but I just don't see people. You're not like mega deep, so people would be like, oh, well, you can min check raise and induce him to ship. But I don't really see that dynamic. I'd probably go 12 to 1,500. I think it might be more of a player-on-player type of scenario. Pete in the live chat says you could shove, I guess, and you could really pause and shove and make it look like you're bluffing. But again, I feel like that's a dynamic type. Like if you're, I don't know if you're known as this, but if you've got the known image of like some sort of nit that doesn't do that really ever as a bluff, then I wouldn't
Yeah,
make
he's
that
usually
play.
pretty tight,
Yeah.
so I think shoving is never getting called by worse based on our history, because I think he's capable of making big folds. He might fold like a queen high flush if I shipped it on him there. But anyways, to sum it up, I did what you said about possibly. I wasn't trying to induce him to come back over the top, but I did do a min raise, and he tanked a while, and he slow rolled me, and he called. He had deuces.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I was
that
just wondering, like sizing wise, and how the kind of way the hand played out, whether I should be kind of being more aggressive or just checking to him 3 times is okay.
um I mean, it's pretty I mean, that's obviously pretty it's a pretty light three bet by him in the cutoff. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
sort of just making a little bit of a protection bet on the flop once you call. I don't know if he was going to plan on bluffing the river. I mean, your line, I guess, is okay if he's going to make that bet when he doesn't hit. I mean, once you check call the flop and he checks back the turn, let's say the river's a three. Like, is he
Mm-hmm.
is he going to bluff deuces there? Because he's never going to be good, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, I would expect him to consider it at least. I don't know if he's gonna do it 100% of the time, but here and there.
I mean, do you have any bluffs when you check raise on the river here?
Honestly, I think this is like the bottom of my range on a check raise on this spot in a 3-bet pot. So like that's why I called in about it, because plus having the king of clubs makes it so you can't have the king high flush as well.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's like,
yeah. Pete O'Neill in the chat says that you could. I mean, if you wanted to construct some hand that you could bluff with here, that you might call the flop with. Ace Queen with the Ace of Clubs makes sense because you're supposed to call that pre-flop, and you might call to small sizing on the flop. I think we would all agree that you call once. River, you try to get to showdown. Guy makes a bet, and you block the nut flush. I think that I like that play more with more standard river sizing as opposed to like a big pot size bet at the end. So that could be a bluff that you might find. But Grimstar, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
all right, thank you. No
All
problem.
right. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.